Because what we want to do is play to our strengths. So it's about, if we list down and identify all our differences, and then we go, so we are clear on them, then we appreciate them, then we can go 100% in on you, 100% in on me, then we play to each of our strengths, and then like feel
Then
each other's weaknesses.
Find out how the puzzles fit.
Synergy.
Because it's good to have different strengths, but you still have to find the synergy part, which is a process.
It's hard to find, but it's worth it.
Okay, I think as I am getting leaner through the carnivore diet, which I lost 6 kg in less than 2 weeks. If I do that, then in the sense that if I keep this up, there'll be more brain clarity. All these things will get put into place in terms of like doing podcast, which is a really cognitive task, and like YouTube, all this content creator, learning, self-improvement.
But okay, I don't think, but 6 kg is a bit much though. I don't think it's healthy to lose that
I would say
much.
2 kg of it is pure water weight. So I lost 2 kg of water weight, then I lost another 4 kg of fats in about 2 weeks, which is, I think, okay. I've done keto diet in secondary school before. I lost 8 kg in 1 month, but I don't know whether I got water weight or not. Probably have. So I'm probably in a more deficit state than back then. I do feel a little slightly weaker when on carnivore diet physically, but cognitive wise, generally it's just a lot easier to get into the flow.
I don't think you can lose even still like 4 kg over 2 weeks, because there is like a, if you want to lose or you want to gain, there is an ideal sort of rate at which you lose, which is like,
but it's
0.25 kg to 0.5 around there.
There's a healthy range to prevent yo-yo.
Or to prevent, that's why muscle loss. Like you cannot
Am I losing muscle?
for sure say that whether you're losing muscle.
But I'm actually eating my protein requirement too. Like 200 plus grams of protein. Because of like carnivore, just a lot of meat and eggs. Butter.
Well, nowhere to know unless you measure. What gets measured gets managed or improved even. So,
but what gets me going is it's actually quite cheap to just buy frozen beef, like grounded beef. Although it's not the highest quality, not grass fed, it's probably grain fed, but it's a ruminant nonetheless, and it's quite bang for the buck, I would say. Like it's not very expensive, easy to make, and it fills you out like mad.
The thing about the carnivore diet in general is it's an elimination diet. It eliminates all like choice in a sense. So you're more restricted, and that frees up decision making.
Like, the willpower that you have used to stop yourself can be used on getting the full state, so on and so forth. One thing that I struggle with since like forever is that once I gotten into a healthier lifestyle, one of the key challenges that I have to face is my family members, my living environment, whereby I make this like a cardinal rule for my entire life. Is that if it's bad for me, I've learned about it through content, through books, through like talking to people that are in the biohackers community. I know that like sugar, seed oil, all this not good for you. Snacks, processed, highly palatable food, like all this. If I see in the supermarket, no matter how much I crave, I just have to make the first decision to not buy it. Then I will save future willpower to have it at my house and decide not to eat it. But the key thing is that my parents will buy, especially both my dad and my mom would buy like junk food home. Then I would like question them and make them feel bad about it.
Shame them.
And they'll shame me back, like you should be able to have the discipline to not eat it.
Willpower.
I'm like, but I need my willpower, my mental bandwidth to work on other things. If it's at my house, if it's there staring at me, and I know how it will make me feel the pleasure, the instant gratification, it still takes effort to not. Takes willpower.
Yeah, willpower is a finite resource. So
I won't say it's a resource, more like muscle. You don't want to exhaust it throughout the day. That's how I feel.
like, if you don't want to exhaust it, that means it is a resource. Then it slowly depletes.
But it does have a own recharge system. The body will recharge it through sleep, through recovery, through meditation, all this.
Yeah.
Just that it still takes up. Yeah, I guess
energy.
Resource in the sense of time, because the energy can be, it's like it can replenish, but it takes time to replenish. So it consumes the most important thing, which is time. It's like basically you buying junk and storing it at your house, it takes time away if you make the connection there. So sometimes I just tell them, just don't buy. If you don't buy, even you crave, you won't even eat it. Then you will forget about the craving soon. Then another thing is that now that I am in an elimination diet, kind of just carnivore and eat whole foods in general, no veg, no sugar, no nothing. It's so easy. There's junk food at home that I just it's not worth it.
It's just your automatic response is just no to everything, including
because it's not worth getting out of ketosis. It's not worth suddenly introducing brain fog when you're already doing it and you're already seeing a lot of results. So might as well just stay. Then slowly, the only key thing that I worry about, okay, maybe not worry, they have to prepare, they have to plan, is how I plan to transition out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get a way to slowly introduce certain things, healthier things, maybe complex carbs first, then honey, then stay at there.
I don't know if complex carbs are more. Okay, we don't have to.
I mean, when I want to stop the whole carnivore.
Yeah, but on a scale of what is better to first reintegrate, I think there are better options than complex carbs. Because even complex carbs, there are a few. There are the idea of. I don't want this whole episode to be about diet again, because there are plenty of.
But this is on specifically my current carnivore diet. Yeah.
If you just want to know, there's oxalates. So complex carbs have even sweet potatoes. They have quite a bit of oxalates in fruits like kiwis, whatever.
Okay.
So I think there's that's why.
What is oxalate?
Tiers of oxalates are plant defense chemicals. There are sort of things that in kale, kale or something, some other spirulina. I'm not sure what vegetable, but basically it will. Dave Asprey, this biohacker guy, he calls it a razor through your gut or something. So it will literally grind up. I also don't know what.
So I don't eat kale or whatever.
Yeah.
What purple sweet potato, which a lot of centenarians eat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fine. Those are complex carbs. Those are tasty as well. Sweet.
Yeah. It's
not too sweet as well. Purple sweet potato it's easy to find. It's cheap. Just have to steam it, then cool it down after you. Just cool it down then before you eat it. Then it's not as high glycemic also. Yeah.
But there's
still have plants.
If you want easy to, because what you have is digestion. Yeah, I don't think going first to complex is the best. Oxalates, there are sources. There's a whole list you can search on Google. There's kiwis, cocoa, even it just keeps going down.
How about just fruits?
Fruits have less certain fruits.
Ripe fruits.
Yeah, you want ripe fruits, organic if possible. Then there are even stuff like tomatoes. There are nightshades or something which are not the best.
So cherry tomatoes.
That I'm not sure.
Because cherry tomatoes are fruits, right? But the actual tomatoes, some people say it's a vegetable. I mean, it's fine. I'm not a big fan of tomatoes.
Yeah, that's why my diet now is more animal based. There's even with berries, there are raspberries are higher in oxalates or something. So I avoided them at some point, but now I'm just incorporating a bunch of more berries stuff. Berries are good for you. Blueberries, anthocyanins, great for mental health. Even though I don't see a potent effect, but I mean, I think my brain health is good enough already.
It's a good snack nonetheless.
Yeah, it's
very
healthy.
Whether it helps you or not, the negative effect is minimal, and you get the pleasure of snacking on something has flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll think about it, but
there's levels of diet. There is the lion diet from Michaela and Jordan Peterson.
yeah.
Straight up meat, salt, sometimes not even salt, I think.
Only the thing about lion is you don't eat white meat. It's only ruminant.
Red meat and salt.
Ruminant only. Like
I mean,
it's basically just two types of meat. Three. It's game, mutton and beef.
But that really is for health issues. If you have to, like even Michaela herself says, if she could, she would want to go and eat other foods and reincorporate it. But she has a lot of health issues.
Actually, most of us don't eat, and like we talked about it on the last on episode 7 on sleep.
I think.
Like I thought about like we should always introduce a little bit of inconsistency just for your body to be able to deal with. Like we cannot ensure ourselves to have like flawless diet, flawless sleep all the time. So you want to be able to perform even when you have those days that you cannot have your diet in place or you have blood defense chemical introduced into your system. You need an anti-fragile system. If you only focus on everything needs to be perfect, and what if one day you like what if you are put in a place where you cannot, like you get imprisoned, you are trapped somewhere.
Military.
You're trapped somewhere. Let's say you are deserted in some areas, you cannot get back home, or you travel, then you are stuck there. Then the only options you have, or like you have limited money, is to eat like carbs and plants and whatever. Then immediately your body start to fail. You don't want that to happen also.
That's the thing. There are no perfect circumstances. There will always be.
Yeah.
Life will always throw stuff at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about how you deal with it, and also you can. Okay, let me think about how I want to phrase this.
How do we achieve antifragility in our diet and in general just wellness?
Because we have the problem is that now we have way too much choice. We have as maximum options really. We have access to food from everywhere, anywhere, even with you can import anything really, and at all times. So if you have that much choice and you either don't decide or you decide to go for the unhealthy option that's worse for you,
So I think we need a framework for our own individual. See how much risk and reward, how much you stress your body at certain times, so seasonal maybe. Different people should have different way of like navigating through their own. Like it's like a journey. You don't just see it as like at certain age or now you have to go into carnivore because that will help you with this and this and this. You should see. So we talk about this a lot. It's like knowledge. Like you need to learn first. Learn, try, get the skill of how you can use it as a tool. Having this tool, then you can decide at what time to use what. Then when you are like, let's say you're trapped in, let's say India, you cannot get back, some work trip, you're stuck there, your passport lost or something. Then really hard to find high quality food. But it's fine. Generally just look for no seed oil or less seed oil. Don't look for fried. Don't look for things that are high in hyper palatable, sugar, fats, all. Just look for whole foods in general. And even if there's vegetable, even if there's potatoes or whatever, it's okay because you know that there's the best option there. So like, be able to select.
I sort of figured out in my head what I wanted to say. Sorry, I sort of lost that track of thought.
All right.
So carnivore everything is a tool. Use it strategically. Even for me, I have things like, for me, coffee gets me into writing and sort of mood. So I realize now, especially potent when I drink coffee in the morning. I will just start writing all the way until at night. And I reach like new conclusions, further development. every time I write. That much. So my mind is like concentrated on one stream of thought consciousness. I think it stems from last year when I started, because my learning was actually I didn't actually start learning. I started self-development, but I was learning just watching podcasts and everything.
It's more of the feel-good mindset, all this.
I was letting, it was still the algorithm really. Like I let it feed me content, but it just so happened to slowly deviate towards science and self-development. But I made the intention to really get into a season of learning. So Alex Hormozy has this season. This is the season of blank. Then you fill it in. So it depends on what your goals are, first of all, because everything you do should be, in a sense, wherever you are aiming for your goal, you're aiming for a target. So you set the goal already, then you figure out your constraint, right? Your point of weakness, a problem that you can sort of solve through an action. That's why you take that action. So I decided in August last year, and it was around the time I got this beautiful tablet thingy to start my season of learning. Q3 last year. Yeah.
So you started your season of learning. Okay.
I didn't start with the season of learning, really. It was more, I set the intention to start learning, like really focus in on learning. And from there, I got all the not audiobook. Yeah, I did start listening to audiobooks also, but I started reading first of all. Books, and I downloaded a whole bunch of books. I started reading, and I really read most of my books, because I read like probably about 20 books, add on some audiobooks. But yeah, around that's the number.
Do you have the habit of reading before you started all this learning?
No, actually,
And was it difficult for you to focus on the words, like actually get the information down here? Because when I first start, I know a lot of people can relate. It's like your brain is so overstimulated that you read the same line. I read the same line when I'm on guard duty, when I first started reading last year. Also last year, when I tried to read more books, I can read the same line about 10 times and still not get it. Like, actually, physically, I read it out loud 10 times. I'm like, what? The words become a bit like alienating. I'm like, what am I reading? Like, what does this sentence mean at all? I can read the words, but I cannot get the meaning behind it. So that slowly changed, and as I learn more about how to learn, and also as I become less stimulated by all the like instant gratification stuff. Yeah.
I think it is just your attention span. It was very bad. And you also probably all the bad inputs into your body, then brain fog. That's an idea.
Brain fog. Yeah.
I think you've sort of cleared more of it, right?
Yeah. Back then, probably my brain has more inflammation as well. Definitely. With the diet, with my body wasn't as physically fit.
You're holding on to a lot of fat, which is estrogen, stuff like that.
Estrogenic, yeah. So for more people, I guess this will be for those that are skinny fat or slightly heavy, like higher fat body fat percentage also, because you'll probably tend to be harder to read. And as you're getting leaner, like aim for 15, I think that will help with learning. Like your physiological helps with your brain, which is your brain is still part of like your body. It's just that
it's
people don't make that link.
Yeah. Synergistic.
Yeah. So how did you first start?
How did I first start? Okay, so what I realized was actually but this took me like a few months even to figure out that I actually, going back to my childhood, I was really an avid reader, and the thing is that I completely forgot about that. So I refer to this as my 7 years of bad habits and everything. But once I started, even when I was about 8, I got my father's iPad or something, started watching YouTube video, Minecraft games. That was my sort of gateway, and that took over my reading. So before that, in primary 1, primary 2, even I would keep going to the library. Actually, even towards primary 3 and 4, when I was about 10, 11, 10, 9, 10.
Okay.
So I always, like, my family would bring my whole my parents would bring me and my siblings to the library, the public library, and I would borrow back, use all their library cards. So bring back 2 like heaping bags of books, and I would read a lot.
Fiction.
It was mostly fiction, I think. It was
Okay.
like young
Of
adults
course, yeah.
or even younger, or young kids. Probably.
No one reads non-fiction when you're young.
A very intelligent like.
When I walk past non-fiction aisle last time when I was young, although I don't read a lot, but I still like, what is this? It's either comics or actual like fiction books. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you bring back and read all of them.
But I think I read. So I will cycle between a few public libraries and like clear the kids sections of. And I did that for a while up till when I got my first mobile phone, which was primary 4, about 5, like 10 years old.
I think that's what a lot of people gone through, especially people around our age, when phones are becoming more prevalent around the age of like primary school or secondary school. For me, it's secondary school, like P4, P5, around P5 for me.
I think my cohort, in the sense of people at my age, we were like the first generation to grow up with, because the iPhone came out in like, the first iPhone came out in 2007, right?
But when it was widely adopted, it's around like
it took a while.
iPhone 3GS, around that era.
Yeah.
iPhone 4. When iPhone 4 is released, when most people start to have phones, like smartphones.
And also it was a more like premium sort of commodity, I think.
I think it was when YouTube become like a mainstream thing. Like it got like bought over by Google and stuff. I think that was around the time. Yeah.
But by 2010, I think most of us were already introduced to phones in our lives. There's a research going into like how having even a phone like existing within like a child's, like if they see you using a phone, that may impact their development and everything. Not sure about that. I don't know if I'm going to be...
Or maybe it's how you use the phone. If you're always just escaping through the phone, the child confirm can pick up. Because kids, actually any human, we can detect when someone is present or not. Even like kids, like I think it's just how present you are does impact how much mental resources you are into the current moment, which helps you survival, something like that.
It's beyond just like looking.
Yeah.
I guess it is mental. At any moment you're taking in really a lot. You're surrounding yourself, your feelings.
Yeah.
Then what you project in through your eyes that are part of your brain, that sort of thing.
Then through all the genetic information that pass down, how you should survive, what you should do. Some things are just natural or like it's predisposed. One thing that I want to cross-reference to is I was learning about attachment styles, and they talk about like anxious attachment style. Like the research on like when the parents leave the room or when the parents start to like get distracted, the kid will vie for their attention through like cry. Like they'll start with like trying to get their attention by like shouting a bit, then cry, then it progresses. Then at some point he will like throw a tantrum and like pretend that he don't want your attention anymore. Then you start to get that will like, cultivate either the avoidant or the anxious attachment style in terms of how present the parents are and like the relationship. So you can see from all the toddlers, the kids, that when their parents are just distracted with some thoughts and stuff, not present, not looking at them, that they can immediately pick up and try to like, they call it some kind of reaction, like it's some sort of response towards not having their loved ones to their primary caregiver to give them the attention they need.
It definitely is not feeling loved, in a sense, not feeling that comfort, that they feel rejected in a sense by their caregiver, who is unconsciously or consciously just not paying attention to people. So one of the best gifts you can give someone when you're in a moment is to just be present. And
this plays into like now, after learning about that, and I don't know about but I have this frame that whatever I look at now, I need to learn it so that next time it helps towards my parenting. Although it's quite far ahead, but why not start early? So one thing that I learned about is that you get to see a lot of anti-examples around you. Parents just on their iPad, on their phone, when they are pushing a stroller, the baby looking at them, like just looking at iPads. Okay, that is very bad. Like kids looking at iPad while their parents are with them. That it can be bad, but there are some that their kids are not on the iPad. It's slightly not as good, but their parents are just not there. Like in their own world, thinking about stuff, or you can see them using their phone, checking email, all this. I don't know how much of that is happening because we only can catch a glimpse of their life when we look at them and we observe them. But generally, I feel like those will have consequences when you do that. So like set up your life so that you can have people around you to give them the attention they need. Like some people use maids. Some people have like some social activities at a certain age. So like, there's still a lot of things I need to look into for parenthood. A lot of things. But I find it very interesting that you can impact a kid's life just by not being present, just by literally having work thoughts in your mind as you're pushing a stroller or as you're at the playground with your kids. That does affect the development of the kid. Yeah. So no matter how small, it still affects. So like, take responsibility. Yeah.
There are cues beyond logical that we can tell you. Psychological, that's why. Psychological, beyond logical. In my family, it was more definitely when me and my siblings were younger, it was, we were the ones who were always on our phones, and our parents were maybe less. I can't remember, but now even like parents are getting onto phones and being addicted, because I think the whole sphere of content, short form, or devices as a whole is now very, very mainstream. It is normal to have access to it, everything. So even parents now, I don't know how many of your parents are on their phones all the time.
I would not reverse what my parents said to me or my grandma said to me back to them now. Since now I am more conscious about my usage of all these devices because I have reached the rock bottom. They were saying that the people in America, they create all these apps, these games, these videos to steal your attention, to brainwash you. And now they're the one that is scrolling, that is like it's non-stop watching, texting, social media, even games. And I use back the same thing on them.
That's why the influence that culture has, or even we have among each other, is crazier. Like
it is
between child and parent, there is also influence going the other way. It's not just the parent influences the child. It can be the other way. And over time, willpower is like a finite resource also. But so your conformity to social defaults, I guess what is normal in culture, that will affect and change over time. Even in the past, they may have said, "Oh, it's bad for you," stuff like that. Is go to sleep on time. Sometimes you're here, and sometimes you're here, they're there, and then sometimes it does like switches. The dynamics shift over time with family especially also. So
the dynamic does shift, but what you can work on is keep improving, but improve on the deeper stuff in the sense that don't just improve doing the good habits, improve your standards. If you drop, how low can you drop to before you have to push again? Then keep increasing their standards. Then as you're increasing the standards, like you said, conformity, hope that or try to explain to them that that's what you've been doing and that's what they should do because of blah, 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 because of X reason, Y reason. And hope that that will help them influence their baseline standards as well. Like I think I thought about this before, but for me, generally having a healthier lifestyle, I did improve my baseline by a lot. Then now my family does improve. Because sometimes they still fall back now, but it's not as low. The lowest is like buying some Nyonya Kueh or whatever that they're craving. They're eating it like once a week. Even though it's still bad, it still impact your palate to the point that other healthier food doesn't taste as good. But sometimes for them, splurge a bit, they're at the age where they have other responsibilities, so it's harder for them to have the willpower as well. If like I understand that, so it works in every aspect, not just diet.
Yeah, being understanding that everyone is really different, and everyone is at different points of their life at different stages. Everyone has different goals. So I think the people around us have differing levels of ambition, differing levels of goals. That's why to you it may seem like one exception, you don't want to make an exception, but to them they may see, because their goal is different
perspective,
they may just be okay with doing that, having that one exception.
What's the big deal with this? Like it's only one time, but for you have a goal that is further, and
vision, what you're envisioning.
And from their perspective, your vision is also like you are never original. All your thoughts, your visions, your goals are still influenced by someone. Somewhere someone told you something that caused you to have that goal. So like, to them, they just know that, why do you want to put this upon yourself to like really restrict yourself to that level? Yeah.
It's realizing that not everyone has the same sort of inputs. Your reasons why are in your own head, because you've heard from other people, the people you surround yourself with. But everyone has different people they surround themselves with.
Yeah.
So every individual is so unique and different. That's why it's very hard to compare with anyone, even. Yeah.
That's why always work towards, not against everyone, but work with everyone. Yeah. The interconnectedness. Yeah. So
just now I talked about raising, sometimes the dynamics will change like that. But what you want generally, if you're this is something from Jordan Peterson, was one of the first few things actually last year, at the start of the year, January.
Yep.
One of the first few sort of self-development or getting my life together sort of videos that I watched on, that the algorithm fed me, was on goal setting. And he said that goal setting, if it's a really good goal, is setting a goal that not only benefits yourself but the people around you. So I think in terms of that dynamic, if you set a goal that is good for everyone around you, you may go further a bit at the beginning, and they may be here now, the dynamic change.
Okay.
But ideally you should try to elevate it so that everyone around you is also elevated together with you. You want to bring people along with you. If you don't, you just leave people behind, and that's, especially family, I think that's not worth sacrificing.
Makes sense. It's on. I recently read some article or some books. I cannot recall the exact thing, but it's the idea of aiming for success instead of superiority. Success brings everyone around you up. It's about serving the world, serving the people around you, then slowly expanding the capacity. Superiority is about just you. So you can ride on other people's sorrow to build your own success. You just focus, you're just selfish. Like, it's just about you being better than others. You better be you being better than your parents in this sense, that sense. You being better than your friends around you, your tribe, your social circle. That can cast you into a very psychologically unhealthy thing. I think I read this from this like psychology book. Yeah. So it's very important to aim for success, and everyone got their own definition, but be aware that if you're only aiming for superiority, that will boost your ego a lot in the short run, but it will yo-yo also. It's like when you diet too much, you lose so much weight, then afterwards you feel too stressed or whatever, then you will bounce back. Your body, you will crash. So don't have the ego crash. That's what not aiming for superiority is.
Doing sustainability, like progress. But
it goes the same about learning as well. You don't want to just learn the things that benefit you solely. Learn the things that in the long run can benefit the people that you are serving and the people that you associate with you.
There's this quote from Ernest Hemingway that says, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self."
What if I don't want to be noble?
Then you can be no more.
Okay.
This is America.
Okay.
Yeah. So my approach in general with sort of influencing the people around me, because I have tried, but have I been successful? I cannot really say I have been. So in that front, I cannot say much, but it is being superior to my former self. So influence is a skill that you can learn, or you can even improve. It's something you can develop. It's not just, oh, I can't influence him, so I'm just gonna accept it and leave it as that. It is like, okay, so I'm slowly developing myself that way, but at different points I'm slowly so if I tried it at this point, okay, I'm just gonna hold this line out. This is not an anti-Semitic anything. Anyway, so maybe so at this point,
Oh no,
I may not have.
we are getting cancelled.
So at this point, I may not have the ability to influence the people in my life well enough to help them to see what I see from the education I have now. But maybe I continue developing myself, and I maybe learn specifically about influence, persuasion, how to sort of teach, even improving my teaching skills right now, talking on camera. That could be, I developed that specific skill because I set a goal where I want to basically help the people around me improve as well. So slowly improve at different points. Maybe I haven't leveled up enough to succeed at help influencing the people in my life.
Most of the time, it starts with the self. It starts with the personal. It's the area of influence. So what you can work on is you cannot force an idea or an ideal perspective or how you view the world as the main thing into someone else's that haven't watched the same content as you immediately. So that's what I realized also, like we have similar like encounters because we are all improving and we want the people around us to rise as well. So I also face the challenge of trying to get just people that I care about to get on the path that I was on, or at least I am currently on, but a bit behind. Like the first few steps get the ball rolling. I try to explain to them that this is why, it's a reason or whatever, but I realize that is difficult because they don't see the world the way you do. They have different experiences, different friends, different, I guess, flywheel of different activities. Like some things they cannot cut out yet. And you need to find out. One thing that I learned is that teaching someone, you have to figure out how they learn instead of how you learn and use the same way to them. And another thing is the same thing about knowing them first. Is about relentlessly trying to understand where they're coming from, understanding their needs. Then the angle will change when you understand more. So a lot of the time, you have to ask your loved ones, your friends, your siblings that you try to bring up what they want, and really need to keep helping them to find that out. Then eventually, you cannot handhold them to anywhere, but try to influence in a more tasteful way so that they find a path where they can lead themselves. They don't need your leadership anymore. Because if you just keep teaching, you keep trying to get them to be accountable and stuff, basically you are their leader. They need to be their own leaders. That's what I realized. But to reach that point, you really need to understand first. You need to ask. You need to actually care about them instead of care about how they affect you. Which at some point, I make it clear to my friends and my brother that you improving will make me improve as well. And if you want to stay in my circle, you have to improve. So it becomes it's just what I want.
Being more selfish.
Yeah.
And using shame also to try to influence, even though that is not the really best way to do it.
And I'm still the culprit of that till today. Even I'm still working on that.
I myself.
Yeah. So it's not that we are not, us saying this might diminish our credibility, but note that this is a process that I think most people struggle with because it's about expanding your area of influence to the point that while still balancing your self-improvement. So it's a total different thing that it's like a Venn diagram. The circle of area of influence and your own personal growth both need to improve. So you really have to dedicate your mental resource. And that's why don't get junk food at home, because that will suck away your mental resource. Yeah.
Like it or not, we can be independent, focus on our self-growth and everything, but we are still part of the larger community around us.
We are, yeah.
Our changes will affect, we are making changes to ourselves, improving ourselves, but that also will influence the people around us.
You will. Even if you try not to, some people try not to influence the people around them, you are still causing an impact to the world.
Yeah, it's the idea that no one moment is exactly the same, because at every moment, there are so many unique intricacies that will affect, that makes every moment different. So if you make any change, if like a second passes from now, whether I've learned or I've not learned, or improved or not improved, sort of everything has changed. Yeah.
And some people just try not to learn anything through interacting with people. They will just live their own world. After work, go home, watch shows, eat alone, all this. They try to have less impact on the world. But through existing alone, we have enough of an impact, like giving one more view, taking up one more molecule of oxygen from someone else. That's a bit too granular, but yeah, small things like this, or just walking past and people looking at you, having their own projection, having some thoughts, judgment about you, or maybe no judgment, just pure projection. That still helps someone's psyche, like through you being there, changes the perspective or where the direction of the thought patterns start to form after that day. So in some sense, you are incredibly significant. So everyone amount to about the same at the end of the day. I think that is one thing that I'm trying to get to. Like, although there's some level of superiority to inferiority, but at some point we all amount to about the same when we are gone. Even though some just saved the whole world and some literally did nothing, or some evil guy that has bad influence, or they are born psychopathic or whatever, go and kill people. Then some go and save lives, some go and kill lives. Everyone still amount to about the same at the end. It's just moving, constantly changing the world.
Everything is mental, your impact and everything, influence, everyone's lives is just sort of inside our heads. So no matter, at the end of the day, if you remove your sort of mind when you die, in a sense, and your body dies, you're just a human being. You can reduce everything down to just you're a human being. Or if you monkey, you're a monkey.
You can reduce even more that everything is just energy, just waves. That's why, like, through you being here, you are a form of energy. Whatever you do, like, even everything is moving. This table may seem solid. The mic will pick out, but it might seem solid. But atoms are, if you zoom in enough, if you observe it as in the level that our human eye cannot perceive, it's just waves. So even if you die, your mind stops working, which thoughts are also a form of energy. Your body is there just converting to another form of energy. And whatever that you did, whatever word that you spoke out, that you talked to someone before, someone seen you before, all these are just energies. Yeah. That will change.
It's appreciating, because so that life you have is finite. So appreciating every moment in a sense. And appreciating yourself even, because you never know the impact you have. Like the influence you have, actually, I struggle with this myself. I sort of minimize the impact I have, especially because once you think about it more, there's this concept of, I'm not sure what effect it is called, but the multiplication, or like a butterfly effect, the butterfly effects and all that, like, also exists. But if you know someone throughout your life, you'll know about, like, estimate This is an idea I heard from Jordan Peterson.
So the degree by four, like separate degree by four, something is like the in a society or whatever, people are more connected than you know. Like you will impact 4 people, then 4 people impact. Then in the end,
network. It's also called a network effect. There are a lot of names. I'm not sure what that precise name is, but
okay.
Yeah. So if I know one, I know Cal here. As you go through your life, you will know about 1,000 people. So imagine 1,000 Cals here. So then each of them, the 1,000 people, will also know about 1,000 people in their own lives. So you're 1 person away from 1,000,000, and then you're 2 people away from 1,000,000,000. So you have no idea what impact you may be causing just by talking to 1 person right now. That's why giving someone your full attention, making them feel that you are present in the moment. You may think that's not very important or it's okay. They probably cannot tell, stuff like that. But they can tell and it will make an impact. You don't know what impact that will be. Obviously, focusing too much on that is also bad. Like worrying about it.
You still want to leverage, like pay attention to the leverage. Like sometimes, let's say you have a goal that you need to focus on your high leverage activities, like creating content to create an impact, versus talking to somebody that is not on the same wavelength yet. There are different times that you can work on different things. So sometimes you also see which one can get in the flow more. So if you're trying to study, let's say I can only give examples on my own personal life, which is like guard duty. There's somebody that I see that I cannot really vibe with. They have like books in my bag that I can learn. So I have to make the choice. Should I read and ignore that person, which is right beside me? I know how that will make him feel, but is that more high leverage? Or should I try to talk to him and find out more about him? Then maybe he can change his perspective slightly. And sometimes I do doubt myself whether whatever I say will impact his life. Like, because most people, when I talk about self-improvement, they have all the constraints, negative, limiting beliefs that, oh, you're still young, you can do all this, good on you. Like, they literally say that. I can hear it in real time, like, oh, you're still young. That's why you can work, try, go have big dreams. And some they literally project onto you. So sometimes you have to expect your, like they try to like limit me. I'm over there like cringing, like, why? But I understand that is the path of least resistance. If I cannot go that high, you shouldn't. So I have to, it's a delicate balance between trying to talk to someone that is not on the wavelength versus trying to do the more ruthless part of like not giving them your presence, but focusing on the high leverage activities. Do you have any experience on like you say, giving presence to someone, not diminishing the impact that you have versus focusing on something else that can give you the same impact, but in a different manner?
I suppose at every point in time, our resources that you have, there's the T framework. So TEAT. Time, energy, attention. Your sort of resources, sleep and stuff, like recovery, you just recharge that. So every morning you wake up with time, energy, attention. So how you allocate that is really up to your systems, how you intentional you are with your resources. Those are the 3 things that we all are. That's why as humans, we are limited by, in a sense. Yeah.
Those are the true currencies of the world, in a sense.
Yes.
That you trade those to get something else. Like you trade your time, energy, attention to get paid. Then you trade it back for like convenience, which save you time. Or you can trade it back for something that make your life easier, which saves you energy. Or like you can save it for attention. I don't have a good example for attention.
Concept of money as a whole is because you work to earn money, value in a sense. Then using that money, you can
buy back whatever.
You can pay it to someone, and they can, and you're basically buying their time, energy, or attention, or a combination of them. That's why services, products, in a sense, that is money. So currencies, really, you can convert time, money, and attention to money. Those are, in a sense, exchangeable. Higher leverage just means less time, energy, or attention, and you get more money. That's why the price tags, your view on money really does differ. But yeah, so time, energy, attention. So where you want to direct that? If you want to you want to set goals that benefit the people around you. So how much of that energy, first of all, in your mind, how much attention? So attention is the currency now. We are taking your attention by you watching this video. So giving your attention to people is very precious. So everyone online is trying to capture your attention. So you deciding to give it to someone like willingly, that's a choice you have to make that is valuable. Someone can tell when you're really making an effort to be present.
Yep.
Psychologically, whatever. Yeah.
And you create your own framework to decide all this, like how you spend your time, energy, attention based on your goal. And like to go back to my stories, that what I realized is just I build onto how reciprocal they are. How are they making an effort into trying to tap into the same wavelength as me? If they're trying but they have limiting beliefs, I can stay in it. But if they're like shutting off, they have like weird body language, they start to project too much, I realize it's not worth my time anymore. And that's when I shut off. Yeah.
It's like every moment is so independent. So making a decision, it is in the moment. But if you make a choice to dedicate that time, energy, or attention to someone, then you can feel it in your sort of heart or whatever.
Yeah. Like even talking to your Grab drivers, sometimes you'll feel like, oh, I should probably make a conversation instead of being on my phone, or instead of like, I don't know what you guys do during, like, for me it's like meditation or read or whatever. I have to like, oh, is it better for me to talk to this guy, make his day, like spiritually we are all happier, or should I just focus on my work? And so I would just like see whether the mood of the guy, I will talk a bit to see how his energy level back. If I talk about, oh, today is there a huge traffic or whatever, then they're like, oh, same lah. Then I know I just forgot my own thing. That's higher leverage. If he's like, oh, whatever, then he start making conversation, then I'll participate more. Yeah.
It's the idea of quality time as a love language even. So it's not just time as a love language. It's not just So there's the quality aspect, which is I may be spending time with you, but my energy and attention are elsewhere.
Yeah.
I guess that's the audio listeners will not understand, but there's like a mismatch in a sense. That's where people sort of can realize you're not being mindful. So when those three are not in a sense aligned, maybe that's I'm epiphany in my head sort of. But yeah.
So what I got from what you just said is that you should preface to your Grab driver that your love language is quality time.
Spend quality time.
So next time when you get into a Grab driver, you open the car, say, hi, I'm traveling to blah, 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 and my love language is quality time. So you better
so look put all your attention on me. Don't care about driving. Yeah. I want your attention and time. But yeah. So multitasking. Okay. Can go into multitasking, but to wrap up the part of what time, energy, attention, right? So it's love. It's a love language, quality time.
You love. Okay. Quality time. So it's a love language, yeah.
If Seneca has this quote, if you wish to be loved, love. So it's doing things with love. Like doing it for love in any sense, that's like the highest of all sort of the highest I don't know, motivation.
It's a high
reason
for people that believe in like emotions have like different frequency or whatever. The higher vibrational emotions, love is top up there lah. Love and gratitude, all this. So I express thankfulness, express gratitude, express
appreciating
love.
Things.
Yeah. That if you have that frame of mind throughout your life, when you're in that vibrational state, or let's just say you're in that frequency, you will look whatever that is, you'll attract people on the same wavelength. So that will in turn benefit you because you have all the positive emotion coming back to you. So what you put out there, you trying to be more grateful, you trying to express more love, you will attract more love and gratitude, all this back into your life. People will thank you more. and that in turn will just create a better life. Yeah.
There is a lot of sort of pseudoscience basically, where so shame, fear, and all those sort of feelings are lower of states of vibration.
Yep.
Then you can listen for music, listen to higher vibrational frequencies to sort of alter your state also. That is a thing.
Yeah, but I think the biggest state change is still inner. If you can have an internal way of regulating your state to the point that you try to default it back to a state of gratitude or state of like, oh, what can I do to love more in this moment? That will help more than all the external thing.
It's like focusing on yourself as a whole. Focus on the local before the global. On your point about attracting people, because if you focus more on love and everything, you attract people. Yeah, if you're striving outwards, you also attract people like aligned to that vision in a sense. So, I heard from I think Liu Brahma, the law of gravitas or gravity, basically like object with like a larger object or something with more mass density. I'm not sure. Like a black hole basically, maybe will just absorb things towards it. It's the reason why the core of the earth, we are all gravity. That's how that works.
Mass in space time.
Yeah. So the larger object will be able to,
people will fall into your orbit.
And you will attract like-minded people towards you in a sense, and also raise the people around you.
So it's about changing your state to a point that you increase the gravity part of you, the mass part of you, to have the positive thing, because you don't want to improve the negative aspect of the gravity, like the mass. Like imagine you have the shame, guilt, all this, and it keep increasing, which I did when I was a degenerate. Naturally, everything that circle around me will be those. You won't be able to attract like other things. That's why when they say sometimes it's good to use anger, there's a counterpoint to that. Like you want to achieve success, you want to have successful people around you. But sometimes successful people, their definition of success doesn't include all these higher vibrational emotions. And you can say, oh, doesn't matter if I'm getting paid more than you, that's all that matters. But sometimes you are sacrificing your long-term happiness. And like, I know there are people on the internet that talk about their goal is not to be happy, is to, I don't know, is to focus on their work or whatever. But sometimes if you're not happy, it will influence other aspects of your life. Like your kids or people around you, they see you're not happy, they'll get influenced. So like, think about it, your loved ones, are their happiness important? So if you're not being happy, when you're spending time with them, you will impact them in that way. You bring out all, like, your negativity will pull them in, pull their negativity in.
Yeah, being mindful of the influence you have around people.
So sometimes you come across friends that are highly successful in that sense. They are like go-getters. But all they focus on is on profit. All they focus on is on this, that. Sometimes you have to take a step back and see, do you want to be like them? Because you are the
want
average.
To lead that life that they have. It's about asking yourself what sort of life you want. And what sort of life you want for the people around you also. So in general, leading by example is really not the only thing you can do per se, but it is all you can focus on when around people, I guess. Because you cannot, at the end of the day, everyone's mind is different, everyone's goals are different. You cannot influence someone's mindset because they set their mind is individual. They set it themselves. You can individual being. You cannot hammer in with brutal force or anything. Especially
things that you yourself haven't fully internalized it. And I think that is one important thing, because you don't have the emotions to back what you want to say out, so you cannot hammer.
A lot of the time, if you try to, I think that's why if you're developed enough, if you've leveled up enough really, that means you've fully formed that thought or concept. So if it's a fully formed and it's like an accurate, truthful idea or concept, it should resonate with people, because they have common sense in a sense.
They have bullshit detectors. Everyone have that bullshit detector to some extent. Maybe kids have less of it. But naturally, we know when people are telling the truth or they are faking their conviction.
Or we can also hear it whenever you hear someone say anything, you can hear whether it sounds truthful or false. We have that sort of split in our heads. So we know whether something is like fully thought out or it's just an infant. Like teaching in general, a lot of like reading everything, you may consume content from a creator and just like start spitting it out as if you came up with it yourself. But you're just regurgitating what they said in a sense.
So, and if you're just doing that, it's not really authentic to you. And what is not authentic to you, you have to spend a lot more willpower, mental bandwidth, whatever you like, time, energy, effort to make it sound convincing, to sound more believable. And the energy can cause you to burn out. Like you want to focus the energy on something else. Focus on the thing that has the highest leverage, which is actually go do the thing and internalize the concept. Then after you internalize, then you go tell people. Then you don't waste that time, energy, effort, or attention onto.
Okay, you can call it a waste, or sometimes really that leveling up sort of.
I mean, like, don't waste it on faking. Like, let's say I have not completely. Let's just put in
fully internalize something.
Let's say the no fat community. Like you want to give no fat advice, but you yourself haven't fully like internalized, like fully mastered the benefits or how to do it, or then you try to give advice because you are just repurposing other people's content. That won't feel authentic, and you want to make the video that you make on that topic believable. You have to spend a lot of energy and time to make it sound more believable, and they'll take away from your actual learning. So like, don't basically inauthenticity. They'll have a cost. So if you want to achieve success through being inauthentic, a lot of people can't sustain that.
I mean, I think it's just rushing to put out content, put yourself out there. I mean, we are quite young already, but for me, it has been a few levels. So those levels, I keep going back to it for some reason, but yeah, I think because it is an accurate, there are levels at every time. So at my first level, I was just posting on my Instagram story, spam. So I was like, it was my very infantile sort of stage of thoughts. I was really regurgitating whenever I read any books or anything or consume any content. I realized at the peak of my sort of mental clarity on Carnivore, reducing brain fog, and taking supplements like lion's mane for cognitive benefit or whatever, optimizing sleep. The timeline was 2 days. 2 days. And after that, I will start teaching it as if I came up with the idea myself.
Okay.
So I consumed and then I just spit it out. So the question is, with influencers online, how many of them are just not forming thoughts fully, like, so having experience in a sense or authority to teach. A lot of people just bank on I guess what other people have thought before, which if there is wisdom in that, but
it's how they say it. Like some people say in this form that they are learning, like you can tell they are learning and they're teaching you because they are excited to share what they learn.
I think it's the intention, what they're intending to do with that.
If they intend to just show that they are an authority figure, that is when it becomes inauthentic. When they are authentic in the sense that, like, you know, I've been learning communication skills, but they have the way of like trying to end the end of your sentence with a lower note, lower pitch. They'll make you sound more believable, like, because you don't sound like you're questioning everything you're saying. Like if I say that, it sounds like I'm not confident in the topic. But if you force yourself to do that in every topic that you try to give, and you're not being this not a tool anymore. It's being inauthentic.
Obsessing over it.
Yeah. So that will cost you a lot more in the long term. Yeah. So I think
the way that people speak, influence as a whole. So if there are ways to influence through actions or through words. That's why what people say, actions speak louder than words. So leading by example, most of the time, if you have to even open your mouth and have to tell someone to do something, maybe you're not leading by example well enough.
Mm.
There's like a guide you can sort of go towards.
Yeah. So we end this off by reflecting on your what you can change on in your own life first. Start with your local yourself.
Yeah.
Then whoever you want to influence, whatever impact you want to make will catch up through you still being authentic. So you can, it's more high leverage. Like you want to live this way because it's more fun. You're not wasting, like, it's still wasting to me. Yeah, if you are wasting time, energy, attention on creating an image of you, that takes away the actual impact that you are creating. Yeah.
But if you're creating content out there online, it is because you can say things with conviction and everything, but if you yourself have that lack of awareness, so if you yourself don't look at yourself and realize that, question whether you've actually thought through, I guess, fully formed thoughts that you want to teach. That's why I like to be like sure of what I put out there. I don't want to put unbaked ideas where I just spit things out with no sort of filter or I want the preparation in general, like being sure of my message that I put out there, so I can be so I can work towards the intended impact that I want to have.
Okay, I think we can continue this topic further because there's a lot of things we can go into. Like for what you just said, there's an argument of like, is it better to just put out the information, and even if you're wrong, it will still impact how people think. People will try to correct you, they will have their own experiences. So is that action alone creating a positive impact to the world just by you putting things out there? Better than inaction. So there's a lot of concepts we can dive deeper into in future episodes.
It's about whether you want to make mistakes public or private.
Yeah. I think this is the end of episode 10.
Yes.
Yeah. So see.
I will end this with a quote. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Tolerant with others, strict with yourself." That is all for influence for now.
And see you guys next Monday. Goodbye. Okay, you can cut that part. Yeah.
I'll just okay. Technical difficulty. If I find it too hard to cut anything, I'll just like preface this. Technical difficulties. Okay.
Just say so very loudly, like you can't see. Then continue your point. Then easier cut. Legit.
Yeah. So in general, okay, I cannot be smiling, laughing. Okay.
Yeah. Be sad.
My system.
Everyone you love died.
So